Our guest joining us today was a nationally ranked collegiate wrestler. He's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. He medaled in the 2011 IBJJF Worlds and is the Abu Dhabi Jiu-Jitsu World Pro Champion. He's currently 5-2 as a professional MMA fighter. He's on a 4-fight win streak. And on July 31st of 2021, he's going to be facing Ricky Steele in the Fusion Fight League Bantamweight World Championships. So everyone, please join me in welcoming Carlos Lozoya to the show today.
How's it going, brother?
What's up, dudes?
Thanks.
It's really cool. It's really cool that you're doing this, Paul. Just knowing you, knowing you from back in the day, and then you're doing this now. I just met you, Jarrod, but it's really cool.
Well, before we get started kind of with everything that you've got coming up, why don't we talk about that a little bit? Maybe what got you into fighting. You've got a history with Paul. You were both high school wrestlers as well.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about that a little bit, Paul.
Yeah, so just going back, we're obviously growing up, this is kind of something I always kind of thought you were going to end up doing, is fighting and stuff like that because of your jiu-jitsu background and everything. But going back, when did it really start for you where you decided you knew you had a future in MMA?
Honestly, man, I didn't really know. I just wanted to do jiu-jitsu. I wanted to grapple. When I was wrestling in high school, my goal was just to be a better grappler.
Mm-hmm.
And I just loved jiu-jitsu so much. And then when I got into Cimarron with our old high school for wrestling, when I got into Cimarron, just the level of wrestling there was amazing. Our coaches were amazing. And I guess when I really got into thinking about MMA was I wrestled when I wrestled at North Idaho College. I had one of my best friends now. His name's Joaquin Calderon. I roommated with him for a little bit, and he fought professionally. And I think at the time he was 6-1, and he was just an athletic dude. He just wrestled and conditioning insane, and just didn't train. He never trained. Was 6-1 as a pro, and yeah, I know, it's impressive.
Yeah.
And but one day he was like, "Hey man, you want to fight?" And it was I just got done wrestling at North Idaho, and I was like, "Yeah, why not?" And he was like, "Cool, we fight in 3 days." And it was against Sean O'Malley, actually. And I was like, all right, I'll fight him. And then he was like, "Dude, it's gonna be for a title. It's gonna be for a title. So the promoter's just saying that you're gonna be 3-0, so you can fight him." I was like, "All right, I don't care." So that's literally how it started.
Yeah.
So it's funny, but when I got done wrestling in college, I wanted to still compete, and I was like, yeah, just might as well just do this MMA thing, because I still love competing, and that's the reason why I do it now. Just I competed since I was a kid. I competed in high school. I competed in college, and then now I got done with wrestling, and I was like, man, I just still something was missing in me, I was I just wanted to compete, and it's there's nothing compared to it, just I don't know what it is, but when I'm not training, when I'm not competing, it's there's a hole, there's a big cloud in me. So that's really that's the biggest reason why I do it, is just to, I guess it's my way of therapy. But I got into it because of that, because of my buddy was just like, "Hey, you should fight." I was like, "All right."
So let me stop you there for just a second, Carlos. Make sure I understand correctly. You took your very first pro MMA fight with no amateur MMA bouts, and you took it on 3 days' notice against Sean O'Malley for a title?
Yep.
That's very unusual circumstances.
Yeah, I know. And,
how long after that bout did you have your next pro fight?
So after that, I think I had 2 more amateur fights, but it was kind of the same thing. People, I was kind of training, but I wasn't. I was really just because I was living in North Idaho, and there weren't a lot of gyms out there like that, But I was like wrestling with the guys in like our old wrestling room. I'd still like come by and wrestle with the new college guys coming in. And so that's kind of like how I stayed in shape. And Joaquin, my friend that fought professionally, he was just a freak athlete, man. Like the conditioning wise, just amazing freak athlete. And I'll just work out with him all the time. And just every once in a while, I'd be like, hey, dude, in a week, do you want to fight this guy? I was like, all right. And then I did that 2 more times as an amateur. And then I was like, you know what? I think I can do this as a pro. And then I just started taking pro fights, doing the same thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then as a pro, my first 3 fights, I wasn't really training. And then I lost 2 in a row. So I won 1 and I lost 2 in a row against guys who I definitely should have beat. And then I was like, okay, maybe I should start training a little bit more, you know. And then I went into the military, and then with like active duty military, so I was like busy for a long time, and that's just like I was like in training like in the military for like 3 years, so I never got to train for like 3 years, and then but then I started training again once I got to a duty station, and I'd work, and then I'd get off work, I'd go train, and then I'll just repeat that cycle,
Well, you can see even in your record, your second loss, you turned right around and avenged that loss right away. So you could just see in your now you're on a 4-fight win streak, and it seems like your whole career is kind of turned around now for you. Now, fighting a guy like Ricky Steele, you have a pretty big opportunity to maybe get your name out there for some of the bigger fight leagues and stuff like that. Is that something that you're looking forward to doing? Like, are you trying to get into like a Bellator, a PFL, UFC like soon, or do you want to take a few more fights, season yourself some more?
Dude, I'm ready to take anybody. The goal is UFC, and I know I can make it to the UFC, and it's funny because I walk at like 140. I'm at this morning I was like 141, and so like this is probably gonna be my last bantamweight fight, and then I'm gonna cut down to 125. But no, I mean you could see in my record, man. Like even the guy that beat me the last time, I was 1-2, and he was 9-4. And like I know I have confidence in myself, and I know like stylistically with most people, like I'm very, very hard to deal with. And I have supreme confidence in myself, and my coaches too, man. Like I have good coaching. So
where are you currently training out
of? I call myself everybody's student. So,
okay.
Yeah, it's funny because I literally train everywhere, but I teach at Alliance for Jiu-Jitsu. So I get all my grappling at Alliance in Lakewood, Washington. But Micah Brown, he used to coach striking there.
Okay.
And that's who I got connected with for my striking. And then now I still stay connected with Micah. He'll like run classes out of his garage. He's looking for his own facility to like run a gym, but he'll run classes out of his garage, and I train there a lot. And then I go up north to Seattle, which is like an hour commute, to train at Warrior Strength with Belton Lubis. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm training at. I'll train at this under Eddie Grant too, at Fight House every once in a while. They have some good pros. They have Sam Hughes, who's in the UFC. Joey Alzea, I think is his last name, who I think he's going to get in the UFC very soon. They have some really good dudes there. But I trained literally everywhere. But probably my 2 most common places would be Alliance for my jiu-jitsu, and then Warrior Strength / Micah's place.
Carlos, personally, I think traveling around like you just described is a really smart way to go about it, because while there's got to be a lot of benefits to staying at a home gym, I think you're exposing yourself to a lot more schools of thought by doing it the way that you're doing it.
Oh, yeah.
Are you looking to continue that, or are you kind of looking for a place to settle down eventually and call home?
So I agree. It takes a village to make good people. So it's just the community out here is great, and people are always willing to help out any way they can. and but I'm moving out to Boston, so I have a good connection with Joe Lozon, and I have a good buddy out there, Connor Matthews, who's actually doing really good right now too. And I'm going to train under Joe, and then
Oh, that's
they
great.
kind of have their own community over there, like gyms that they train out of. So I'll just kind of be doing the same thing that I'm doing here, but over there, but like connected with Joe Lozon.
Okay, well, kind of still taking a step back. So because you have that, like, I could just see it from knowing you and knowing your background, that grind mentality that comes from like wrestling and jiu-jitsu. How are those two different disciplines like been able to change your MMA game? Because a lot of people, you know, they're good wrestlers, but they kind of abandon it because once they become pro and they turn into strikers. And some people are great at jiu-jitsu, but they never can quite, you know, get the takedowns and stuff like that. How is like both jiu-jitsu and wrestling being able to help you evolve your game?
You know, it's I think I have the best of both worlds, because the hardest thing in mixed martial arts for a grappler is not to get the takedown, but to maintain a top position. So I'm just really good at holding people down. You know, if I take you down, I know I'm gonna hold you down for an entire round, and I know like if like it's a grind, man. If you're like constantly trying to come up, I know I'm gonna keep constantly bringing you down, and you're gonna use a lot more energy than me. So you know, most wrestlers, you know, it's exhausting if you don't know how to hold someone down, and you're constantly trying to take someone down. It's exhausting. Like wrestling is it's the hard part of MMA. You know, wrestling and grappling is the hard part of MMA. And don't get me wrong, I love striking, but and I will strike with people, but by far, like conditioning wise, it's like it's uncomfortable. No one wants to do it, you know.
Yeah.
And that's why, in my opinion, I think that's why you get so many wrestlers that are like, fuck that, I'm just gonna try to knock this guy out, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
But and then same with jiu-jitsu guys. They're not like in a traditional jiu-jitsu. Everyone pulls guard, you know,
Yeah.
and then traditionally people just don't stand up, you know.
Mhm.
And I think that's where a lot of grappling gets lost in MMA is no one ever trains to hold someone down, you know,
Yeah.
because it's a
Yeah.
hard thing to do. It's a really, really hard thing to do, especially when you're striking. You're trying to maintain position. You're trying to like not overextend your limbs. It's a hard thing to do, like to hold someone down and like and win, you know, because it's
Yeah.
easy to like if you know how to just like bump on your hip and come up, it's easy, you know.
Mhm.
But I think that's where I shine the most is the combination of wrestling and jiu-jitsu, and just the ability to make people's lives hell, like trying to
Yeah.
get up.
Break their will.
Yeah, you know, and I did it in wrestling too. Like, I wasn't the most technical person, but I was a hard hand fighter. You know,
Mhm.
I hand fought a lot, and it breaks people. You know, people are like,
Yeah,
"Fuck, this guy
absolutely.
off me." You know, and
Mhm.
I try to emulate the same thing in MMA. You know, is just make it really grindy. You know.
Mhm. Well, so your fight coming up, obviously with Ricky Steele. What do you think of your opponent? Obviously, you know he's got his Ultimate Fighter background, Dana White Contender Series background. What do you think a win like this would do for you?
Dude, I think it would put me in a bigger promotion for sure. I think it'll get more people's eyes on me. I'm hoping I beat Ricky, which I think I'll beat Ricky. I mean, he's a tough guy, very athletic. Just from like seeing him fight, extremely athletic, tall, long. Um, but he kind of fades. I think he cuts a little bit too much weight. He kind of fades, and but he manages distance so well with his kicks because he
Mhm.
has a karate background. Um, so he knows how to stall with when people try to evade his kicks. But I think I'm just a bad matchup for Ricky, to be honest. But I think when I beat Ricky, uh, if I can get with the right connections, hopefully I think I can get a spot on Dana White Contender Series. But if not, I'll just keep fighting and keep letting my name get bigger and bigger. That's it, you know. I'm just trying to beat good people and get noticed. You know, that's all it is to it.
Yeah.
You're going to be focusing a bit more full time now. Your military commitment is over, as far as I understand, correct?
Yeah.
Well, thank you for your service, of course, and I think that's awesome. I know it's got to be really hard to have maintained, professional fighting and military active duty at the same time. Now that you're focused in, you've got this big fight coming up. It's July 31st. It's going to be on the FiteTV app, correct?
That's correct. Yep.
Right. So everybody that's listening, you can download that app in the Play Store. You can get it on your phone, on your Fire Stick. I've got it. I think they were just bought up by Triller. Weren't they, Paul?
So it's like
Really?
all one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm pretty
because
certain.
they had that Logan Paul and Mayweather fight.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so you might find that app is starting to get more active users, which is going to get more eyeballs on you and your fight upcoming as well. If people want to learn more about you or find you on social media or anywhere else, where can they do that, Carlos?
You can follow me on Instagram, Carlos Lozoya MMA. Last name spelled Lozoya.
Lozoy.
Yep, Carlos Lozoya MMA. And if you want to follow me on Facebook too, just Carlos Lozoya. So
Perfect.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. We're looking forward to your fight, and maybe we can get a chance to talk to you afterwards as well.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. I appreciate
you
you
bet.
guys.
Yeah,
Thank you.
appreciate
We'll see you next time.
Thank you, brother.
All right. Thanks, bro.